Hello everyone and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, and I'm RJ, and today I'm going to bring you a little bit of game footage and some information about a game that I've been playing recently and have been playing a lot of, and I've been having a blast with it, and that is a game called Warframe. And for those of you who are wondering, Warframe is a free-to-play, cooperative third-person shooter. And I was really turned on to this game after basically the downfall of Destiny 2. And I just really had that itch and that lack of grind for something meaningful that I felt from Destiny 2. And that's what brought me over to Warframe. I was looking at a bunch of the Destiny 2 forums, and they were like, why don't you try out this game, Warframe? It's so much better. And I came over here, tried it out, looked at it, and I haven't looked back since. So I've had so much fun with this game, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of the some of the basics, get you a little bit of a crash course into what this game is, and we'll go from there. Now, I am by no means a veteran of this game. I only have maybe 36 or so hours put into this game, and I've really only scratched the surface of what this game can bring to you. So, but anyway, what is a Warframe? Let's get to that. This right here, as you can see, is a Warframe. It is your suit of armor, and it gives you many different abilities, and it's what empowers you. And every Warframe is different. So I'm going to show you just briefly a couple of the abilities here. Now, this is one of the starter Warframes. It is the Excalibur, and he gets a lot of bonuses from wielding swords. And he's got this ability called Slash Dash, Radial Blind, Radial Javelin, and the Exalted Blade. And he's got a passive ability that ups his damage and attack speed when he's wielding swords. Very flavorful. But this is a starter frame, and there's over 40 different Warframes for you to choose from and to build with this game. So, and every single one of them plays differently, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't played any other Warframe. This is my first one. I'm still only 36 hours into the game, and I'm working on building my second Warframe, and I'm very excited to try them out very soon, but more on that in a bit. So that is what your Warframe is, and the way that this game plays, you have this interface here in your ship called the Arsenal. Now, in your Arsenal, you get to pick and equip yourself with various different weapons. You get a primary weapon, exemplified by this Bratton rifle that I have here. You have a secondary weapon, exemplified by this Kraken sidearm that I have here. And then for my melee weapon, I'm wielding dual scanas, which is just two swords. There's some lore to go along with each of those, which is pretty cool. But you can see on the right side of your screen, there's a lot of numbers and a lot of stats that go along with each of these weapons. That will all make sense to you once you dive down this game, and you can tinker with the numbers and work with a lot of these different combinations and unlock, really, once you get into a lot of the mechanics of this game. So that is, and from your primary weapons, you can wield anything from rifles to shotguns to bows and arrows, anything. There's tons of stuff to pick from. There's different sorts of sidearms. You can dual wield pistols. There's throwing stars. There's a whole bunch of other array of stuff. And then for your melee weapons, there are swords. There are staves. There's a lot of really cool stuff to pick from. You are very much a space ninja in this game, and that in and of itself is really, really cool. And each of your different Warframes have different armor, energy, health, and other different stats here to go along with each of them. So that, in a very brief nutshell, is your Warframe, what they do, and the arsenal of weapons and things that you can pick from. Now, I did mention this game is free to play, and you're going to be using this place called the Marketplace a lot. So let's just go over here and get this elephant in the room out of the way. As you can see on this front page, they're immediately trying to sell you a few things for your hard-earned real-world money, which is this currency right here. These are called platinum up here in the left-hand corner. You can buy things for real-world money. I find that that takes the fun out of this game, because this is really, at its core, this is a grinding game. And let's look here for an example. If I want to look for a new primary weapon, let's find one here. This, let's look at this one, the Attica, cool looking crossbow here. That was actually a terrible example. Let's look at the Cernos here, a bow and arrow. Now, one of the things that you can do in this game, you could buy this weapon outright for 225 platinum. That's a lot. You start the game with 50, courtesy of the game developers, which is pretty cool. Alternatively, there are these in-game currency called credits, and you can buy this blueprint for this weapon for credits. So if we look at this blueprint, now we can see, okay, this weapon, if I buy this blueprint, it will take me an additional 15,000 credits to build, and a requisite number of each of these different resources that you can find and farm in this game. And you get resources in this game just by playing, which is super, super cool. And you'll notice a timer here that says this item takes 12 hours to craft. I will explain that in a second, and that sounds ridiculous, but I will explain that here in a second. So this is how you will be primarily working towards different weapons that interest you, and you will be building them and finding their blueprints here in the marketplace. And this is also true for any other warframes, different skins for each of these, your different weapons and cosmetics, different pieces of equipment, what have you. You can find the blueprints in the marketplace for all of these. Naturally, with some exceptions, like I showed earlier. So that is the marketplace. And like I said, the cool thing is you do not have to spend real-world money to do anything. And they give you 50 free platinum, which, like a lot of pros that do really good starter videos, a lot of them recommend that you do not spend your starting 50 platinum, and I will pass along the same information to you. So that's that. So that is the marketplace. That's how you unlock things. We'll get to the star chart here in a second, but I want to show you how you actually build things. You have this module in your ship called the Foundry. So if we open up the Foundry here, this is going to look extremely daunting at first glance, but it's okay. You get used to it. But the Foundry is really where the magic happens. So in here, you take those blueprints like I explained earlier, and if you have if we look at these Oberon systems, this is a piece of a special component for the Oberon Warframe to get the systems component, and I happen to have all of the required materials to build that. And when I click build, it's going to take 12 real-world hours to build, which is kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's kind of a curse because you're like, man, I really want this right now, but I can't have it. But the blessing is it just lets you set it aside and come back to it later. For example, this is going to be my second Warframe. This is the Rhino Warframe, and you unlock all of the components throughout playing this game. And as you can see here, I have about 14 hours and 26 minutes left. So this will be ready for me tomorrow to finally get my hands on and experience and play with a new Warframe, which is super cool. So you can really build anything and everything here in the Foundry. And all you have to do is figure out where to farm these different resources throughout the world. So, again, like I said, very Very daunting at first glance, but once you get into the game and get a feel for it, it's really, really cool. And as you can see here, I've got a couple melee weapons that are ready to go for me to pick up and start using. So I'm not going to pick those up right now, but I will get to those later. So that's the foundry. That's where a lot of the magic happens. And one of the last things I'm going to show you before I show you some gameplay footage and actually play a mission, I'm going to very briefly introduce how you upgrade and get more powerful as the game goes on. So if we go to this upgrade tab, we're going to bring up our weapon, the Bratton in this case. We've got a capacity and all of our stats here. This capacity is what allows you to put different mods onto your weapon. And as you probably guessed, these are your different mods down here. You unlock these and find these just playing regular missions. So you pick these up, and you pick them up at a fairly constant drop rate. As you can see here with this ammo drum, I've got 12 in my inventory right here. And each of these mods do something different. So, for example, this cryo rounds, this adds an elemental damage to my weapon, and it adds 75% cold damage, which is pretty cool. And as you can see here, I've got 2 already equipped. Serration, which just flat out gives me a percentage bonus of damage to my rifle. This is super awesome. This allows me to build this weapon up to do more damage as I move into the mid-game. Stormbringer, this gives me bonus damage to and allows me to deal electric damage, which is pretty cool, and that is useful against certain types of enemies. And you'll notice that underneath these mods I have some blue lights, blue pips filled in here. This indicates that I have upgraded these mods. So I've spent some time, and another type of in-game resource that is also given to you, but just simply by playing the game. I'm not going to go into the process of modding in this game. I just wanted to show you very briefly how you get more powerful, not only through modding your weapons, but also by modding your Warframe. As you can see here, I've got some mods that I've been working on and have outfitted with my Warframe, and those directly increase my Warframe's stats. So that is a very crash course of a couple of the different elements of this game, but I'm going to show you a mission real quick to show you kind of how this game feels and what you can expect when you play. Now I'm going to go to this place here, go to Earth, and actually let me back up a second. This is the star chart. This is where you navigate and move throughout the solar system. At the very beginning of the game, you start on Earth, and you slowly unlock these different nodes on the map. And each of these nodes have a different type of mission. As we can see here on E Prime, which is where I'm going to go to show you, is an exterminate mission against the rival in-game faction called the Grenier. If we look here at Eurasia, this is a mobile defense map. Gaia is an interception map. There's approximately 20 or so different game mods, and they do different things. They allow you to they're each useful for farming different types of resources that are found on each of the planets. So like those resources that we saw in the foundry that I needed to build certain armor and weapons, each of these planets have different nodes. So Earth, for example, could potentially give me ferrite, rubedo, neurodes, and detonite ampules. So that is how you figure out, oh, I need this type of resource, I need to go to this planet and farm a couple missions. And that's how you level up, gain your resources, and just generally play the game. So I only have a few of these planets unlocked right now, but let's just go ahead and start this mission on E Prime. And the cool thing is, with Warframe, you really do feel like a space ninja. The movement in this game is superb, and I will show you that here in a second. So you can move around your environment just as normal, like you would play any type of game. You can walk around simply just by crouching. Come on,
there is a large platoon of Grenier Marines stationed here.
You can
Leave
crouch,
no one standing.
you can aim down your sights, and all of that. And you can play the game like that. So with this mission, I need to exterminate 33 enemies found on this map. But the cool thing is what I'm about to show you. You are a space ninja. You can do really cool things like this bullet jump, for example. Just use my melee weapon there. Use my weapon there, my rifle, aim down the sights. Now these guys are pretty low level and gonna go down pretty quick within a couple shots. I picked this map because I didn't want to take up too much of your time today and just breeze right on through it. Now you'll see this ferrite deposit. As you'll recall, this is a resource that I could pick up. So I just run over here, melee that, and I pick up some ferrite. Oh, I found a mod. Oh look, some loot crates. Found some more resources, ammunition, what have you. So there you go. This is a little bit of the footage for Warframe. And you can play this game, you can play it fast, you can play it slow, you can play it however you want. And the cool thing is, once you figure out what your playstyle is, you can do that. I really like to melee things, so that's what I go with. But I'm trying out this new gun. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Alrighty. So far, so good. Where are you? Okay. Cleared all the enemies in this area. Let's move on. I'm not very proficient with this sidearm because I haven't used it before, so yeah. But one of the other cool thing is you can, when you jump through the air, you can aim down the sights. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. Yeah. This gun is definitely going to take some getting used to. And like I said, I am definitely not a master at this game. I still have really only... Whoa, that was cool. In-faction in-world neutrals helping me out. But yeah, so it's all about kind of just exploring the game, collecting your resources, leveling up your frame. And the cool thing is, I'm playing solo right now. You can play with different randos that you find that happen to just join up on your game, and that's really cool. So you're never really alone, and some of the missions can get really crazy.
Well done. Now get to extraction.
So I've defeated my 33 enemies. Now we have to get to extraction, and just like that, that was one of your missions. And once you get really good at figuring out, oh, okay, I need to do this for this mission, this for this mission, then you can start becoming really efficient at farming your resources and moving on. So there we go. I finished the mission. This is what I found, and these are the different things that I picked up. And you get to level up your Warframe, your different weapons, and those have other interesting effects throughout the game in terms of something called Mastery Rank. Basically, it's just telling you how much that you've played and how much of the different aspects of the game that you have mastered. So that's really all that I wanted to show you in this video, just kind of hitting on a bunch of the highlights of the game. And like I said, I've really only scratched the surface. This game offers so much depth, so much content, and like I said, it's completely free to play. One more thing I want to show you to enunciate that point is the codex here. These are the different quests that you can do throughout the game. There's different information about the universe, the weapons, the factions, mods, art galleries, warframes, and other things like that. There's a description of all of the different types of missions that you can play that I was alluding to earlier. So really the world is your oyster with this game. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a kind of a fast and a really crash course explanation of what Warframe is. Like I said, I'm still new to this game. I'm figuring out some of the mechanics, but it has really given me a lot of really positive experiences, and really is scratching that loot grind itch that I've been looking for. So I'm RJ, and this is Mediocre Gamers. If you like what you see here, please leave a like, leave a comment. You can check out our podcast at mediocregamers.com. You can check us out on YouTube, and you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at 2mediocregamers.com. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video, and get out there and play some games. And until next time, I will see you around.